It's very cool. I mean, it's cool.
I've been coming to a wheel now for a little while, and I'm very pleased to see that what's happening here is that it's the most peaceful state in the whole of South Sudan, and I think that as a result of that, it gives Northern Baragazal the opportunity to move in a different direction perhaps than other states in South Sudan. And I want to mention two things in particular, perhaps three, but two in particular. What we said that we would do is to provide some infrastructure, prefab buildings, some materials, so that those border crossings can be up and running quickly. What does that do? Well, what we're hoping it will do is to increase the trade that comes down from Sudan into South Sudan, and vice versa, get back up as well. The more trade we have, the more movement, the more money, the more goods, the more prosperity, the more jobs. It's how this works. So it's very important that we were able to develop that. And it also shows, and it's a demonstration of the relationship in the last year or more, mainly as a result of the President's efforts to host the peace talks in Juba. So I think that's one very important thing. The second thing is that I think, and I just had a meeting with the humanitarian agencies here, the UN agencies, and I said to them, we can't treat a wheel and Northern Baragazal like we do the rest of the country. We need to be moving towards development projects, not humanitarian projects, but development projects. And this is an opportunity to be a leader for the rest of the country, to show what can happen when you have peace and when you're able to maintain peace, when agencies can move around and do things that they need to do without any problems. To them, come up with some planning around what you would like to see, and I've just been speaking to Articulti about it on the way over here, of leading a development program that can be presented to donors and presented to the World Bank, to other larger organisations like that, about the future here in Northern Baragazal. It shouldn't be this is not a criticism of WFP, but WFP-led dropping food here, dropping food there. It should be how can people grow food for themselves, how can we develop industries, how can we develop the state in a different way. So we'll take a look at how we can help you in that regard. But I think that's the challenge moving forward now is a different, and Jim McGuan, who's on this trip. And one of the reasons for that is that we've, as you know, we're now moving out of POC business, and these POCs that we have around the country will transfer and into being IDPs. That will mean that our focus on POCs will change, and what we're looking to do is to start working with the police in different states to see how we can develop the police, how we can develop rule of law and justice. We've had mobile courts in some places. We would like to see that as a first step towards the bringing in more permanent courts, so that the rule of law is able to start developing here, which is really important. We end impunity, and people start then focusing on again risk issues are now being resolved, and there's just the compensation that needs to be paid over, which is very good. I wanted to ask you just on the issue of the unification of forces. I know that there's been there are some troops here that are in just one cantonment site, as I understand, and I just wanted to ask you about how that was progressing, but also just to get your thoughts on some of the issues that I've just mentioned, and I don't know if any of our team here want to. Great pleasure to be back in Northern Burra-Ghazal. This is the first time I've been back in, for over a year now, and that's largely because of the coronavirus, which stopped a lot of the movement. And I also wanted to come and meet the new governor. This is my first opportunity to do this. So that was the two main first reasons. But the main reason was to look at the progress that has happened in Northern Burra-Ghazal. And as I was just saying, the situation here is very peaceful. In fact, it's probably the most peaceful in the whole of South Sudan. And as a result of that, it's important that we start moving towards development projects and infrastructure projects that can really benefit people and ensure that people are able to bring themselves up rather than humanitarian projects. So that's really my message to the governor, that my understanding is that he's done a very good job in the last few months. That's what I'm hearing. The UN more generally wants to work with him to develop Northern Burra-Ghazal in a way that perhaps other parts of the country aren't able to do, but you can here, because the ingredients, the peace ingredients, are already very much in place here. So we'll take this conversation on in the coming weeks and look at what we can do specifically to support the government.
Your Excellency.
First of all, there's been a very good progress on the agreement between Sudan and South Sudan and the opening of the border, and I think it's very important. So we're going to help support the government here in establishing the border posts, and that will happen in the next few weeks. That will increase trade, goods will be cheaper, more goods, and that will benefit everybody in this area. Second thing is on policing and justice. We are looking at providing a greater degree of support to policing across the country, but particularly here. And that's police, prosecutions, courts, and ultimately prisons, if that's where that's necessary. So that's the second area. And then the third area is just the general development, whether it be schools or livelihoods or medical centres or whatever. Looking at the infrastructure that helps really grow this area. So tomorrow or next week or next month, but for next year and the following year. Because I do believe that there are donors around that are willing to support a plan in a place like Awil in Northern Baragazal. So those are the three tangible benefits I think we can see coming from this.
You're excellent.
We don't normally support education and things like that. Quick impact projects, yes, possible. Some of the issues on roading, yes, we can support that. But also, from my point of view, I'm also the head of all of the UN. It's not just UNMISS, and I'm going to take back as some of those suggestions back with me and to talk to other UN agencies and other donors about whether they can support it. It might not be us, but it might be others that need to know about it.
In the first place, I want to thank SRSG, the Bishara, for his coming to Northern Baragazal, and this visit is very historical for us. I present a lot of challenges. One of them, we need investors to come here in Northern Baragazal while the state is very peaceful. And also we talk about the private sector, and also we have because our children here are really cut off from the higher education because they cannot afford to go to Juba or abroad. And also I talk about the victims of floods in the state. You know, the state is really all covered by floods this year, and we are expecting the payment next year. Also, I want to appreciate the UNMISS here in Northern Baragazal, quick impact projects in various counties, counties in Northern Baragazal plus municipality, and we really appreciate special representative of General Secretary General, and also we have a problem of roads, and there is some road done. Probably there was an
Evan Boiler, UNMISS SAS Service.
Good morning, I'm Charlie Ashley. I'm the Protection Civilians Advisor with UNMISS.